What's up guys? A few people were interested in seeing a team building video about this Araquanid team and I would like to make one anyway, so here we are. Like most teams, I just decided I wanted to use something and then made a team because the Pokemon looks fun. Araquanid ended up being quite fun. It's a little bit lackluster, but it's just a good tank. It can take a lot of hits and banded liquidation is just ridiculous. I'll just bring up a wall of calcs now. Liquidation, just 2-hit KOs, max defense Skarmory quite easily. This Tapu Fini calc is not that impressive, but you can 4-hit KO this standard spread. And then specially defensive ones have a chance of being 3-hit KO'd, while they can't really 3-hit KO you. And we have Wish Rachi anyway to pass wishes to Araquanid to keep it alive throughout the game. Max defense Celesteela just gets destroyed. This calc on Scizor isn't super relevant. I really wish Araquanid could be fast enough to outspeed Mega Scizor, but you really need the Adamant Nature, which means you can't get fast enough to outspeed Mega Scizor even if it's min speed. Zardex just gets OHKO'd, and if you look at the defensive calcs, you live a Dragon Claw, you would live Adamant too, but this is a Jolly calc. I should probably highlight this or something because my cursor doesn't seem to record lately. So yeah, you can always stay in on both Zards. You OHKO Zard Y through Sun, and you actually have a good chance of avoiding 2-hit KOs from most of Zard Y's moves. Modest will 2-hit KO you quite often with Solar Beam, but these two calcs are quite nice, so you can always lead off against a Zard team and just put pressure on them immediately. Kartana has a good chance to get 2-hit KO'd, so if they try to switch Kartana into you, you can just hit them once, take the Leaf Blade, and then KO them with the second liquidation. This calc is a little bit sad because Lando lives after the Intimidate, but yes, you can take one Stone Edge and 2-hit KO. Well, actually, after the Rocky Helmet, that's probably a bad idea to stay in on Lando-T. Defensive Garchomp gets 2-hit KO'd pretty easily, and it can't really touch you between Earthquake, Fire Blast, Dragon Tail. This calc is a bit disappointing too. You don't quite 2-hit KO Manaphy, but the more interesting thing is that you can check even Z move Manaphy at +3, so Energy Ball does nothing, and then Hydro Vortex is the Surf Z move, so if that would kill you in Rain, but if they're just at +3 special attack, you can take any hit from a Manaphy. Great check to Zygarde because Thousand Arrows does nothing, and Liquidation does a million, and so if you get any defense drops, you 2-hit KO it, and if you don't get defense drops, you definitely win one-on-one anyway. And then this is the one Scizor calc I'll include, just Superior, because you can take a +2 Leaf Storm as well, which is the calc at the bottom there, but I'm having a bit of trouble highlighting that. There we go. So yeah, Araquanid is just a decent tank, and I thought giving it support from Wish Rachi would be good because Rachi's going to bring in Grounds and Fire types, and Araquanid resists both of those types, so it's going to be an easy-ish chance to Wish past. The most noteworthy Pokemon here is Heatran, and I guess Zard Y, so you can keep this alive as a Zard Y check by passing it Wishes. So yeah, I think Rachi's a cool partner. Rachi's just a great Pokemon in Sun and Moon, especially with this set, because you can wall Tapu Lele indefinitely, and Magiana. You avoid the 2-hit KO from Life Orb Tapu Koko, although they can Volt Switch around, so you probably should use a Ground type to support this. Tapu Bulu is why I have 250 speed, because Adamant Tapu Bulu hits 249. And then this is just an easy switch into Tapu Fini as well, because it can't touch you and you can just heal up, and none of them run this much speed, so they can't prevent you from healing with Taunt. So yeah, I think Rachi's just a really solid pick at the moment. Also the best switch into the Latties that there is, although those aren't so common. And then I made this building spreadsheet thing that I haven't really been using, but originally it was just my list of Sun and Moon OU Pokemon, and some of them aren't relevant anymore because I made this when Sun and Moon came out, so you'll see Minior is on this list, but no one uses Minior. But yeah, this was just so I could have a replacement for the Team Builder back when the Team Builder hadn't categorized the Pokemon into tiers yet, so this was like my preliminary OU list. And so sometimes when I'm building, I'll use this. I'll just like look at this list of Pokemon. I'll put Araquanid in here and then like make a list of Pokemon that it takes advantage of and Pokemon that it's weak to, and then that helps me like choose support mons and stuff for it. So after putting my first 2 Pokemon together, I like made this super tryhard list of things that really threatened those 2 Pokemon, so that was this list here. And if you look over more to the right, you can see that Tapu Fini like checks or counters so many of them, so that was my 3rd mon. Let's try to go back. Okay, cool. So Tapu Fini was the 3rd pick. This is my favourite set. I just think it's such a great way to apply pressure with a defensive mon. Like Taunt just makes you so much less passive, and Nature's Madness means you can just like fire off 50% on everything. This is just like speed creep speed. It lets you outspeed Rotom and hopefully other Tapu Finis and Lando-T to manage the Stealth Rock game more easily, because you can taunt them before they can get rocks up, and that lets you defog from a more controlled position. And then Moonblast is just nice for Zygarde and Sableye and Buzzwole. But Surf certainly has its merits, because this team is, well, somewhat vulnerable to Heatran if Araquanid goes down. It's quite vulnerable to Bloom Doom Tran, which is a trend you'll see through most teams, which is why Heatran is like A+ rank at the moment, because in addition to like its Spit F roll, it's now one of the best offensive Pokemon too. So yeah, Fini just covered like so many of my weaknesses, and then I wanted to turn it into a more bulky offense team, because like this was heading in a little bit of a fat direction, although it could definitely go either way with the 3 mons I had. So I asked a few people for help. No one was able to help me except for John Yiu. He suggested Scarf Lando. We should go back to this spreadsheet for a sec, because these were like the remaining Pokemon that caused problems. So really we just needed like some speed control and some Steel, Electric, and I guess Dark is probably the next most common type there. Checks. So yeah, Scarf Lando like helps with Metagross and Excadrill and Tapu Koko and Pinsir, and like intimidates Mimikyu, Ground Immunity, all just great assets in a team. And then Zardex is like a better way to deal with a lot of these grass types, although Kartana remains a pretty massive threat, because +2 all-out pummeling. I think Oko is Charizard X, which is a shame, but I don't want to run like a defensive Zardex, because that would make the team very boring. So yeah, Scarf Lando is one of your win cons, and Zardex is the other one, although I'm finding that this doesn't like get that many chances to Dragon Dance on this team, so you could change this to like Swords Dance Outrage with Tailwind, or I guess you could keep Roost, and that would give you a Stall Breaker, because this team is quite sucky against Stall. Oh yeah, which is why I have Waterfall here. Other options are like Toxic and Mirror Coat. Mirror Coat's kind of cool because this thing's Spit F is sky high, but Waterfall is so I have enough PP to like wear out Toxapex's recovers against Stall, because this is probably the main Stall Breaker. Like Stall can't switch into this at all if Toxapex goes down. So yeah, SD Zardex would actually be a great partner for this, because that's going to let you like eliminate Toxapex if that's their only thing on Stall for Zardex, but they might also have a Quagsire, but like Outrage to it cares anyway, so that's definitely a noteworthy change. But having a speed boosting win condition is really nice in some other settings. And then Ferrothorn's just there to like patch up the remaining grass and electric weakness. So like this is the Tapu Koko switch in, which the team kind of lacked up until now, although Rachi can take 2 hits. And then because I'm running knockoff to deal with opposing Ferrothorns, like this was one of the greatest insights of this team, using knockoff Ferrothorn to beat other Ferrothorns, because people will switch Ferrothorn into Ferrothorn. And if you knock off their leftovers, you can just stay in, like even if you're just spamming Stealth Rock to waste all of their Leech Seed PP. Just be aware that Leech Seed doesn't have that many PP when you're doing this, but you can just like stay in. You just need to not knock off too often, because you'll take too much Iron Barbs damage, but this like just beats other Ferrothorns. And because it's not running Gyro Ball, I can use 4 speed EVs to outspeed Mega Sableye, which is kind of nice just in case they you know, switch it in at like 70% and you have a chance to 2-hit KO them after Rocks or something, although you won't have Rocks up unless they lead with something other than Sableye, because Sableye like always blocks Ferrothorn. But outspeeding it is still nice to put additional pressure on. So yeah, that's the team. I don't have as much to say about this team because I haven't used it as much as I used the last team with Nihilego. But yeah, this team's okay. I think you could definitely like improve it. For example, if you use Z-move Lando with Continental Crush, you'll have a great stall-breaking Pokemon. So I think that or SD Zard is a good option. I think I'll actually change this to SD Zard because it just like makes so much more sense. So the importable will have SD Zard. You do need to run Adamant, which is also a bit of... Yeah, that's why I can't use that, because I want something like... If you have one Pokemon faster than base 100 speed, that's just a really bad look. But yeah, SD Zard or DD Zard are options, but SD Zard is like more justified on this team because it partners so well with Araquanid in the stall-breaking mission. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm sorry I can't explain the team better than that, but I can't really give you usage tips either, but like, just be very smart about passing wishes around because you can keep a lot of Pokemon in action by passing them wishes. So like Araquanid, Fini, even Lando-T's, everything can appreciate a wish, but like nothing has recovery except for Zard, so yes, I would recommend keeping Roost on this because that's the main way to deal with Sizz, and Sizz will mess you up if you don't have this countermeasure to it. But yeah, I think that's basically it. I can't think of any other usage tips, but your win cons are going to be Lando and Zard. You can just like wear stuff down with this and get rocks up and knock stuff off, Leech Seed, blah 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 blah. You can use Zard to break opposing Landos so that your Lando can sweep, or you can use HP Ice on a predicted Lando switch to weaken them for Zard X. So just like try to establish which one of these two is going to win the game for you. Araquanid is going to be used like early game to just break open the other team. It's a great lure, I guess you'd say, for Tapu Fini because they'll switch it in because it resists this thing's stabs. You don't really need to poison jab. Like, the trick to using this thing is just clicking liquidation because with its water bubble ability, it's like base 170 power, and this has this. Yeah, I should have mentioned this earlier, but the ability gives it a fire resist, and it can't be burnt. So like, you can stay on Road and Wash as well. But the big thing about weakening Tapu Fini is that lets Zard sweep more easily. So the team does kind of help each other out. Fini is like your Ashgren switch in. This you'll sort of know what this does once you start playing. You'll know what its defensive role is, but yep, just a great splashable Pokemon. Defog's important for Zard, but Whirlpool would be sick here to partner with Araquanid to remove Toxapex, to just let Araquanid beat Stall by itself, except for the Doug Trio. Yep, I think that's all I can say. HP Ice is just for like Z-move Lando, and not really for Zygarde on this team, but yeah, weakening other Landos is really nice to let, like, this thing can HP Ice a Lando-T early game and do like 60% or so, because we're Naive Nature, which doesn't reduce special attack. And then you can like plan an Earthquake sweep late game around that early damage that you got. Or like I said, then set up and win with Zard X because their Lando's taken that huge hit. So yeah, I hope that's enough information to help you win with this team. The importable will be in the description, and I will see you guys next time.